Here today with J.J. Donaldson. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, I'm J.J. with Merit Plumbing.
Yeah, and thank you for taking the time to come and give this interview so people will learn about your services.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, my pleasure. So let's get started, and you tell me a little bit about your background, how many years that you've been in plumbing, and how you came to start your own business.
Okay, sure. So I actually moved down from Canada in 2004 with a Canadian company, doing work originally in the municipal side of plumbing industry on municipal sewer systems. And so I've been down here for the last 19 years. The last 10 years I have been doing residential service and repair. And back in September of 2021, I decided to branch out on my own and started Merit Plumbing.
Well, congratulations for being brave and starting your own company. And it seems like it's been successful for you.
Yeah, things are going really well. It's growing. I'm hoping to put another truck on the road by the end of this year or early next year.
Well, good. The more Merit plumbers there are, the better.
Yes.
What services do you provide with your plumbing business?
Primarily residential service and repair. I'm not a full service contractor trying to be all things to everybody. I prefer to focus in on a niche. So my area is residential service and repair. So primarily working with residential homeowners within their home, providing your typical services you're going to need: leak repairs, drain cleaning, replacing fixtures, toilets, faucets, some small remodel stuff. So most of the things that's going in your home, I can take care of the majority of that for you.
Oh, good. And you are sort of a mobile plumber. Everything is in your truck, so if you come to my house, you don't have to go back to your warehouse.
No, my truck is fully stocked. Again, the nice thing about focusing on one area is I'm not trying to keep parts to service a restaurant and a homeowner at the same time and then being limited. So I carry pretty much everything I'm going to need to fix a residential home. I'm usually going to have on the truck. Occasionally there's a non-stock item and we'll have to get something, but for the most part, the stuff that's common to our area. And that's the nice thing, having been down here for 19 years, I know what's in the area, I know what's common, so I come prepared to take care of the majority of those issues for you right then while I'm there.
Well, I know when you have a plumbing issue, you want to call the plumber ASAP. There's nothing worse.
Yeah, nobody likes to have to wait.
So what would you tell, say, a condo owner that doesn't live here full time, they stay here in the winter, but they go home in the summer? How would you tell them to prepare with their plumbing before they leave?
Sure, that's a good question. The most important thing is to know where your main shutoff valve is for the home. So that the most important thing is that when you leave, you turn off that emergency shutoff valve to your home before you leave for the season. Or even anytime you go away for 24 hours or more, you go away for a weekend, turn the water off to the home, because that way if you do have a leak while you're gone, it's going to be very minor. It's just going to be the last little bit of water that's in the pipe as it drains down, as opposed to just constantly running. If you have a single family home, your main water shutoff is going to be on the outside of the home. You should see a pipe coming up out of the ground and then going into the wall of your home. And there'll be either a round handle like your hose faucet, or there'll be a lever handle. If you happen to be in a condo, it's usually going to be at the water heater, which oftentimes is under the air handler, your air conditioner unit, usually in a closet. So right on top of the water heater, there's probably going to be two shutoff valves, one for the unit and then one for the water heater itself.
Oh, that's good advice. And also, what about a water heater? When should you think about replacing your water heater? Is it different if you're in a condo in a single family home situation?
Yes. So on average, a water heater in our area will last 10 to 12 years. So what I recommend to people is my customers that have a water heater in a garage, if it's not really going to, other than being a hassle, if it's not going to cause damage to anything, I recommend start writing up preventive replacements at the 10-year mark. And then if the water heater is in the home, like if you've got a condo or even a home where the water heater is in like a closet in the master bedroom, in those cases, I would recommend replacing the water heater every 8 years, just to be careful, because I've seen so much water damage and the amount of money it can cost you in insurance claims and damage, that to me it's not worth trying to squeeze every last year you can out of that water heater when it's inside of the home, because when it leaks in the home, it can cost you tens of thousands of dollars of damage in a couple of hours, really quickly.
That's really good advice, because I know people don't really pay that much attention to their water heaters until they have to.
Yeah, especially in a condo where it's like under an air conditioner, because you're almost never in that closet because there's not enough space in there to usually store anything. It's just the air handler and the water heater underneath, so you're not looking in there. Whereas at least in the garage, sometimes you might walk by and you might see a little rust stain starting or something. But when it's buried in a closet in your bedroom or under an air handler, you're not seeing that usually.
No, until it's too late.
Too late, yes. And I've had people wake up in the morning and there's an inch of water in their whole condo.
Oh God!
And then the condo too. Then it's not just damaging your home.
Yeah.
It's damaging the unit below you if you're on an upper floor possibly.
Yeah, that sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what about homeowners that have homes that were built, say, in the 80s or 90s? Is there anything specific that they need to worry about?
Yes, particularly if you're looking to purchase a home that was built before 1990. I believe the code change was around 1984, where they started allowing PVC to be installed for your drains under your home as opposed to cast iron. But some builders use cast iron up until about the 90s, when I was told. And that's a big issue we're running into right now, is these homes that have cast iron drainage systems under the home. The pipe is just at the end of its lifespan. So we're having to dig up homes a lot of the time, or in some cases, depending on where it's at, you can put a new pipe inside the old pipe. But that old cast iron, it's all failing, it's cracking, it's breaking. It gets very rusty inside of it. So then toilet paper and waste, rather than flowing through a nice smooth pipe, it becomes a jagged, rusty pipe, and everything just starts to clog and build up in there. And again, that causes people all kinds of property damage when the home starts backing up.
Oh my goodness, I have a home that was built before that time.
Yeah. Same as mine. Mine's 1974. So, and I've had some issues. I have had cracks in the top of my pipe under my house.
So, is there some kind of an inspection that you can do to see if this is going to be an issue or is an issue before it happens?
Yes. So what you can do is call your plumber and have them come out with a video camera. 10, 15 years ago, when I got into the industry, very few plumbing companies had sewer cameras, or if they did, they might have one. That was, just at the shop, and occasionally they would use it. Nowadays, most companies, every truck should have a sewer camera on it.
Okay.
Because every drain cleaning, you should be putting a camera in if you have access to look at it. And then again, with all the old cast iron out there, if you're purchasing a home, it's a really good idea before you purchase it to get that drain line inspected, just so you have an idea of what you're getting into, and you might see if there's small cracks, you're not going to see right away, but if there's a large crack, you'll be able to see it.
Okay. And then also, there's an issue with copper piping as well for older homes.
Yeah, another issue we've run into down here a lot is with having to repipe homes. I'm actually finishing up a remodel project today for a contractor where the customer had 2 leaks in the copper lines under the concrete slab in the last couple of years. And so while he was remodeling, this is a perfect time to do it because he's actually going to be opening walls and things anyways. So I ran all new plastic water lines overhead in the attic and down. I'm kind of changed my mind on repair versus replace with the repipes the last couple of years. Sometimes if you get lucky, if you have a leak under the concrete slab and the copper water line, maybe if it's in a closet or in an area where breaking open the floor or just under carpet where you can pull carpet back and put it back down. In that case, if it's your first leak, it might make sense to repair it. But if your leak is out in the middle of the living room floor and you got to jackhammer your tile and now you got to replace the tile floor or the wood floor too, realistically, by the time you pay to have the slab leak repaired, you pay a leak detection company to find that slab leak, and then you fix your tile or your wood floors, you're a good part of the cost in towards a repipe anyways. So depending on where it's at, it might be worth fixing it if it's the first leak. Definitely if you've had 2 or 3 leaks, don't even fix anymore.
Don't even think about it.
Just bite the bullet and repipe it and be done with it.
And sit there and wish you'd done it to start with.
Yeah, because it's just going to keep happening. Sometimes we'll dig down through the floor and fix the leak. And once you turn the home back on, you find you have a leak another foot or 2 away, and that can happen sometimes.
Oh, that sounds like a nightmare too.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty common in our area.
Yes, I also have copper piping.
Yeah.
So how would someone know that there is a problem?
Usually the way most people find out, and the call we get for if it's a slab leak in the copper water lines, is you're going to get a high water bill. So usually your utility provider will send you a notice saying, hey, we've noticed your water's gone up from 10,000 gallons a month to 20 or 30. And then you can check and rule out the obvious things like, is there a dripping faucet? Is there a hose faucet you left turned on outside? And then you can check if your toilet, yeah, it happens. Or you can check if you got any toilets running. And if you've ruled out all that simple stuff and you know that your water keeps getting used even though you're not using it, most likely if you have a copper water lines, you've got a leak either in the yard or under the house somewhere.
Yeah, all of those are very good advice to those people out there who may be like me and you with an older home, or we don't live here 24/7 sort of thing. And I'd want to know, that I had my water turned off. The last thing I want to do is come back and find out that, yeah, true. And do you charge people to make a house call or like?
Yes, there's a $59 service fee to come out to the home. That covers the truck getting out there. And then once we're there, that $59 service fee gets credited towards any work that you perform with us.
Oh, that's good because I've had to pay a service fee without the credit before.
Yeah.
And that makes me feel a lot better. I mean, probably y'all too. So before we end this video, is there anything else that you think is really important that our viewers may want to know about their home, their condo, their plumbing, or you?
Sure. Plumbing, like everything else, technology is coming through and really changing and improving things for us. So simple things like to, try to get a heads up that you might have a leak issue before waiting for the county to tell you have a high water bill, is now there's automated shutoff valves that can be put on where the water comes into the home, where they track your usage, they learn your patterns, and they can send you an alert that you have water being used. So you could be at work and know that the kids are at school, you're at work, and all of a sudden your phone pops up an alert saying, hey, there's water being used in the home.
Oh, wow.
Would you like to have the water turned off? And you can either choose to turn off, or some of them will just still automatically turn it off for you. And I do the same thing for any time a water heater is inside the home. I have a valve I use called the flood stop that I recommend, where we put a valve on the water heater and a sensor down below the water heater. And then as soon as the water heater leaks, it automatically turns off the water.
Wow.
So if you got a water heater inside the home, that's a really important investment to make. It's just a couple $100 extra when you're doing your water heater replacement. And then that way, when the water heater leaks, it'll automatically turn it off for you.
Wow, that's very good to know.
Yeah.
It's one where you can put on the intake to plumbing into your home. Is that expensive?
I haven't done one for a while, but yeah, they're not cheap. They're going to be several $100s to put them on.
Yeah.
But when you compare that to, having a flood or something, it's a worthwhile investment.
I think it's well worth $200.
And it's nice. It's nice too when for snowbirds, if you did forget to turn off the water to the home,
you'd have that.
You can turn it off.
Yeah.
Or you can do it remotely too. So some people don't want to turn the water off when they leave because they have a pool and they want the water on for the pool person to be able to fill the pool. So you could turn it on and off if the pool guy's coming out that day. You could turn the water on the phone, and then in the afternoon turn it back off. So that way, because I have had leaks before where people had the water off, turn the water, pool company comes out, they need to fill the pool, they turn the water onto the home, fill the pool, and then they get busy doing their thing, forget to turn the water off when they leave, and then something leaks in the home.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great little thing. I might have to think about getting one of those. But the copper piping, the only way to know if you have a leak is if your water bill goes up.
Yeah, that's the best way to know. The other way to know is water will just start coming up through the floor or a wall sometimes.
Okay, well that's
usually,
the worst way.
usually the especially nowadays, the counties replaced a lot of the older analog meters with digital meters. So the county now, oftentimes, they'll know mid-month that you're having a higher usage month than normal.
Okay.
And so I've had customers where they've been alerted even before the end of that billing cycle, because the county can see the meters. They'll even give them a time frame. So the county will be able to they'll look and they'll go, you're using several thousands of gallons at midnight.
Yeah,
you know,
which
it's
is
running
not-
all 24 hours, and so they'll let you know. Otherwise, you just wait till you might just find out when it starts coming up through the floor. But usually it's been leaking long enough before that happens. It takes a while for the water to come up through the concrete floor.
That's all really good information. I think a couple of things you said I'm going to jump on myself. So let everyone know how they can get in touch with you.
Sure. You can call us or text us at 941-467-3449, or you can visit us on the website at meritplumbing.srq.com.
Oh, which reminds me of something. So I happen to have a hot water heater that started leaking. And I was able to get somebody out the same day. I tried to turn it off, but it was rusted.
The valve was old.
Yeah, so I couldn't even turn it off. So I needed somebody to come out right away. Is that possible with you, or?
Yeah, I try to not to overbook. Occasionally, sometimes, like right now, I've been on the remodel for the last week, so it's hard for me to get out to stuff like that. Sometimes if I'm booked out on a big job, which is also why I try not to do many big jobs, I spread them out because I want to be available for people. But then, you know, when customers call, if for some reason, because I can't get to it, because it is just me, I have a whole network of other really great people in the area that I have, friends that have their own businesses too, and so I can refer them out to them.
So you'll find, if you can't do it,
I'll
you'll be
find
able to
them.
recommend.
Yeah, I'm not going to leave someone at the
Yeah.
mercy of Google to just searching and finding a random person off the street.
Yeah.
I'll usually even get, because everyone is so busy right now, and everyone is so short-staffed because no one's getting into the trades anymore, that I'll usually give people sometimes 3 or 4 different recommendations for colleagues and friends I have in town, so that way they've got someone that they can trust.
Good. I'm glad to know that too
Yeah.
from you. Well, folks, I hope that you got as much good information from this interview talking to JJ as I have.